Hello, guys, and welcome to a new episode in 100K Journey podcast. We have today Asher. Welcome, Asher, to our podcast today. How are you, man?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
We're really happy to have you today, Head. Can you tell the audience a bit about who you are and what you do?
Well, Asher Cowan, I am the CEO of Dr. Cowan's Garden. We make and sell vegetable powders. That was our first line of products, but we've since expanded to many different product lines. And I like to think of us as like a Thrive premium market where we have where we have a bunch of different product lines in sort of all the different food categories, but they are, in my estimation, the premium products on the market. And we can talk a little bit about why.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
The premium quality.
Yeah. How did you start? Like, can you tell us more details about how did you start?
Sure. Yeah. Well, so my dad is the doctor of Dr. Cowan's Garden, and he has been practicing medicine. Well, he's retired now, but he practiced medicine for, almost 4 decades. And his big thing was diet and nutrition. And one of the big things is that people don't eat enough vegetables, and especially enough variety of vegetables. And so around, probably around 7-8 years ago, he was, sort of frustrated with his inability to get his patients to eat properly, and had access to a private community garden. And he went to a restaurant who was using vegetable powders to season their foods. And that's when the light bulb went off. And he said, well, I could make powders out of the vegetables that I'm growing, sell them to my patients, and then that could be a way for them to get more vegetables.
So this would be a smart way of solving your problem. When was that? What year were you?
That was about 8 years ago, so maybe 2015-ish. Yeah.
Oh, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, he came to me with the idea, and we launched the business. Launched it in 2016, so we're coming up on our 7-year anniversary. So in about a month, we'll have our 7-year anniversary sale.
Congratulations.
I think we've been doing podcasts now. A lot of people, it'd be like if you pass a 5 years gap on building a business, you're good. Like you're gonna be scaling. How was the hardest points in these 5 years to complete to 7 years? Like to keep the business going.
Yeah, stay in business.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the hardest part, so we started off making all of our own products, but quickly outgrew our own capacity. And so the hardest part so far has been going from like the small startup stage to at least a more mature brand that is using outside sources for production. And so finding the right partner, finding the right manufacturer, and the right sources for the ingredients was a very difficult step. It probably took at least a couple of years for me, searching, going to trade shows, going to other, sort of industry events to try to find the right partner, and luckily was able to do that, but it wasn't easy.
What do you mean you're finding a right partner? Do you mean like someone that you get a 50-50 with, or what do you mean like someone?
Well, in our case, it was someone who was willing to take all the necessary steps in the production process that we required, and also the ability to work with our minimum orders, because as an emerging or startup brand, you're starting off.
Minimum orders that you have to fulfill per month so the factory can work with you.
Yeah, exactly. So, they're wanting, most of these co-packers are, they multi-thousand minimum order quantities. So just being able to work with them, you either need to have a pretty significant amount of traction, or have to raise money from an investor and have sort of that the purchases lined up with brick and mortar retail in order to meet those minimums for most of these manufacturers. And so we were in the position where we had some customers, we had that a little bit of traction online, but we were never really interested in taking it to brick and mortar retail. we also wanted to keep the business within ourselves. Like we have a different mindset of starting and growing the business as than a lot of people have. You know, a lot of people have like this, you know, Shark Tank mentality where you have an idea, you go out, raise money, get a bunch of investors go and try to grow and scale as quickly as possible, and then exit. And that's never really been our mindset when we started the business. I look at this as more of, you know, my sort of personal, I don't know, legacy, if you want to call it. You know, I also use it as a place to create the products that I want to eat myself. And so, you know, just as a lifestyle, it's been, you know, a great thing for me because I get to create the food products that I want to eat. Food has always been a big, important part of my life. And so,
you like vegetables as well?
Yeah, I love eating vegetables. I grow.
You're vegetarian?
What's that?
You're vegetarian?
Oh, no, definitely.
Okay. Definitely not one. Meat is so
Definitely
good.
no. I buy cows by the half or full cow from a neighbor. I eat meat and all that stuff. But I grow a lot of my own vegetables, and you know, just food is a big part of my life. But
So your mindset in business is starting small and not taking fund from anyone and just start your business on your own in the beginning.
well, it was, yeah. I mean, I shouldn't say we haven't taken money from anyone. We do have one private investor who's been a sort of, he's become a friend and, you know, just a really great supporter over the years. And he has invested a little bit of money into us, but not with the expectation that we grow, scale, and then exit the business. You know,
Yeah.
he's not looking for that, and we're also not looking for that. So, I mean, but getting back to the co-packer, you know, it was just difficult to find someone who was willing to work with us in terms of all the processes that we needed done, and also the scale that we needed. In other words, low minimum orders to start working with them. And
Yes.
so just from a quality standpoint, they've been phenomenal. And from working with us, meeting our various needs, whether it's, you know, different types of products or all the steps that we needed to take in the production of the products, they've been amazing in terms of their flexibility. So it was just hard to find them. And you know, so
If you went back and started again, how would you find them now? Like, you think it's easier now because of the internet and social media? That you can. I think 2015 we had that as well, but not as much as it is.
Just the moving of the internet, it was moving slowly.
Yeah.
Not
Well,
fast,
I think it's almost like a universal problem with startup food companies is finding the right co-packer or the right manufacturer for your products. I don't.
the e-commerce in general, like when someone want to manufacture a product and he's starting up.
Yeah, so a lot of e-commerce these days is kind of this, you know, you buy wholesale from Alibaba or something like that, and
Drop shipping.
you know,
Not
yeah.
building a brand there.
That's the thing.
Yeah, and that's very different from what we are doing. And I think in the food business in particular, it's very difficult to find these types of manufacturers because you have to find it sort of has to meet your sweet spot in terms of minimum order quantities as a startup brand, and also ones that will work with you for your various, you know, particular requirements, because everyone is a little bit different and everyone is, you know, has their unique challenges and circumstances and ingredients and you know, maybe recipe for what they're creating. And so it's just a challenge to find the right partner. I don't think that's unique to us. I think it's, you know, a pretty standard across the board.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more easy these days because
I think everything is easier these days. Everything is easier.
To connect with people, to find things online and that stuff.
YouTube has it.
yeah, but I don't know. Have you ever looked for a food manufacturer? It's just not that.
Does it have a lot of paperwork, mate? Does it have a lot of paperwork?
It wasn't necessarily the paperwork. It's just finding the right partner, because even within the industry, people are very you're very hesitant to give away the name of your manufacturer, because if you give the name of your manufacturer to someone else, now you're competing with them for line time, and it's just one of those unique things in the food industry. You have to
And how
be.
long did you take to find the right partner?
I think it was a year and a half to 2 years.
Wow. And you
Yeah.
was consistent, you had the discipline, you continued business, you didn't give up.
Yeah, so we had the demand from our customers that it was tough to keep up with the demand. We were constantly selling out of various products. The equipment that we had was good enough to sort of keep most of the products in stock most of the time, but we were selling out all the time, running out of stock. And so, I was always looking online. I was calling all kinds of powder manufacturers, and they would sell me as much powder as we needed, but it wasn't to the standard that we needed.
High quality thing of the product. You can delivering the best product. So you didn't want to go. You have high standards, you would say.
Yeah, very high
The
standard.
product.
That's the thing that I would argue sets us apart from other brands. We, especially in the powder, there's lots of different powder brands, and I don't know for sure, but I think that most, if not all of them, are sourcing their powders from, these big powder manufacturers, and you don't necessarily know where the vegetables come from. You don't necessarily know how they're being dehydrated and then made into powders. And so both of those things are very important to us. The sourcing of the vegetables has to come from what we call beyond organic farms. So these are farms that are going above and beyond the typical, in our mind, low USDA organic standards. And then they have to do a special process to the vegetables before they dehydrate them. So depending on the vegetable, they either need to bake it or blanch it or steam it. And that makes the best product. And all of the powder manufacturers that I would talk to, they would tell me, we'll sell you as much as you need, but that was the same product as everyone else on the market. And
You didn't have an added value or something unique about your product.
correct. Yeah. There was nothing, there was going to be nothing unique about that product in terms of the sourcing of the ingredients and how it was processed. It was just going to be the same thing. And that's not who we are, and that's not what we're selling to our customers. So we go directly to the farms, and we use,
What's our process, man?
I would call it,
Yeah, it's a complicated.
process,
Complicated.
because different ingredients need different steps in order to process correctly. So for example, kale needs to be blanched or steamed before it's dehydrated. You don't want to eat kale raw because it has oxalates and goitrogens present in raw form, and you need to sort of cook those off. Nuts or seeds or grains need to be sprouted before they're made into nut butters or granolas or something like that. And so those are the steps that we take with all of our products. We source the best possible ingredients, and then we process them correctly.
Okay.
And it's just hard to find people who will do that.
Yeah, you're bringing the best quality in the market, I think.
I would argue that. I mean, you could, I'd say take the Pepsi challenge with our products versus other powders, and I think we'll come out.
What's the challenge if you can't tell that?
Oh, the Pepsi challenge is like, they blindfold people and they give them a Pepsi and a Coke, and
Okay.
if you're doing that with 100 people, you're gonna get some people who, I'm only a Coke drinker and I like this Pepsi, and so my thing is like, blindfold yourself, try our beet powder versus someone else's beet powder, and I'm very confident that our.
Let's jump on to the next question. How did you manage to get your first customer? Like, what way did you use as an e-commerce store?
Well, it was email, sorry. my dad had at the time a very small following, and he had some, he had a lot of his, people from his practice on an email list. So we basically announced a new business venture to his email subscribers on practice via email, and
Okay.
it worked out. I think we did maybe $2,500 in our first day
Really? From email marketing?
from email marketing, and
That's huge.
right away, it was clear that email was going to be a big part of our success. And if you think about it, if you have a customer's email, you can essentially market to them almost for free, because you do need to pay.
Yeah, yeah. And I had
Email.
50 or like it depends on
Yeah.
your kind like customer list, of course, but it's a very similar. Usually, it's an automation service. Yeah, it's probably for free.
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially free, depending on, some
That's
variables,
list.
but you can, essentially market to them into perpetuity until they unsubscribe. And so we learned very early on that it was this was a very valuable asset to have, is someone's email address, because you can continue to connect with them. And our strategy was to provide them value in every email, not just to try to sell to them. So it was a health related article. It's a recipe for, some sort of, healthy, delicious meal or
So
dish.
like not all the emails were trying to sell. You're providing to provide value for
Providing
free.
value.
Read
Yeah.
the email. I'm not selling anything. I want to build a connection. I want to help you have a better food and that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and we do, sales announcements and those types of things. And we do try to sell products in that, but the,
You're adding value first. You're adding value first, and then you're letting them know, hey, we have this 15% off or something.
yeah, exactly. So we'll talk about, the health benefits of beets, and then include a link to the beet powder product or something.
Yeah.
We'll talk about, high blood pressure and how adding certain foods to your diet might help.
What is the target
I'm-
audience? Athletes? Do athletes care about these type of products, or is it more be on the email list about you fall behind?
I mean, over the years, we've definitely
Market to them.
gotten a lot of athletes onto our list. Athletes are people who care about, achieving peak performance, and
Yeah.
many people understand that diet is a necessary part of achieving peak performance. So our products definitely appeal to athletes. I would say our biggest customer segment would be your parents of picky eaters. So our products are very good at helping
That's
you
smart.
to
That's really smart.
Yeah.
get extra vegetables and nutrition into your potentially picky eater children. And
Okay.
I have 3 of those myself, and they definitely help a lot, because you can find creative ways of getting them to eat a wide variety of vegetables just by adding them to things that they will typically eat without them.
Yeah.
And so it becomes a very, very handy tool in your tool bag as a parent.
They definitely knew that. They definitely.
So you're starting think about how to grow the email list, right? How to make people subscribe to your newsletter on the email list to start selling and growing your brand. How did you do it?
Yeah, so we used a variety of techniques. So first, if you come to the website, you're hit with an attractive offer for your email list. So in many cases, it's a discount for your first order. Just give us your email. In other cases, we've given away a free ebook. We made my dad wrote a book, How and Why to Eat More Vegetables. So we gave that away for free, just for your email.
Nice.
So with the podcast interviews that we've had over the years, in many cases, we would create a landing page that had, a discount for your email to proceed to the website or something like that. So we've used a variety of strategies and tactics to gather emails. And I think our email list is somewhere around 40,000
Wow.
at the time. And so now. And so,
Building through the years, that's hard work, man.
Yeah.
yeah. And
I
so
want to stress something. Did you use a podcast to grow your list?
our own podcast, no, but we've been interviewed on several podcasts to grow.
Okay. And this grew your list. So if a business owner like go to interviews on podcast, he can grow his own list or own brand awareness, or people would know his brand.
Get exposure from
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've found that that's been a great way to get exposure. Our first, sort of, I don't know if you call it a big break, came about a month and a half after we launched the website, where my dad got interviewed on a pretty big health and wellness podcast at the time.
Okay.
And we did 30,000 in sales over a 4-day period and increased our email list by thousands at the time. And
Wow.
the products are great. So,
You just have to exposure for them. You just need people to know that it exists in the first place.
right. And so, because the products are great, we were able to continue to sell to them because we had their email. And so,
Yeah.
many of those are our customers to this day, 7 years later. So
I love that. I love the like products that keep the targeted audience once more. Like they like the product and it gets good. It's getting the helping children eat the food that they need them to eat. And
It's called customer lifetime value. Like how many times a customer buy from you, not only after the first time.
yeah, and that's been one of the keys for us to remain, successful and still in business after 7 years, when many fail within the first 5. Is that people continue to come back for our products. I mean, they're great products, but we don't have to go out and continue to find new people through.
word of mouth. Word of mouth is working for you.
What's that?
Word of mouth.
Yeah, word of mouth. We have hundreds of, probably thousands of great reviews on the site, and so a lot of these people are telling their friends and telling people how much our products have helped them. And it really is. A lot of parents struggle with getting their kids to eat. And
kids.
it makes it so easy, and so people are very willing to share their success stories.
Yeah.
Now I can get my kids to eat beets.
It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy nowadays. Everything is easy.
It's moving that way. Like word of mouth is great product. People coming to back one and more. Like
You guys not use Facebook ads? You never use Facebook ads now?
We've used Facebook ads in the past at various times, but never really found what I would call repeatable success.
okay.
And so I also don't trust the data and analytics, and
Why not? That's
Because we had a great success with a lot of clients from like worldwide scaling their Facebook ads and Google ads, like to going behind amazing numbers.
yeah, millions. But one thing this is really interesting to me. I've never had someone says I don't trust the data that Facebook. Like you can't trust anyway, right? Than how they get it. But why don't you trust the data? That's interesting to me.
Well, because there was a time when we were doing some Facebook ads, and we were getting, like, according to Facebook, it was saying, like, 4-to-1 on your you're getting a 4-to-1 return on your ad spend. And I would look at our sales data, and it didn't look that much different from normal, from when we weren't running those ads. And it definitely didn't look like a 4-to-1 increase. And
You got another person working it with? Did you do it yourself?
we had a professional working it, and I would go in and I would look at the
That's
I would look at the ads, I would look at the sales, I would look at the orders that were coming through, and you could kind of if you're very detailed, you can see, oh, it just went from this to this. I can see that order came from this customer who
Yeah.
that's his 15th order. That didn't come from a Facebook ad. That came from our email blast.
Yeah. On Shopify, you can see that, like the history of the customer.
Yeah, exactly. And so I would be able to sort of pick these sales out where Facebook was claiming credit for it, but I know for sure that, and I can even, I even remember the names of some of the people that I know for sure didn't come from Facebook. We were trying to use it as a way to get new customers who hadn't had any interaction with the brand in the past. And they were counting people who had interaction with us in the past, who had placed, double-digit orders with us. And it's like, no, you can't count that. We're trying to get new customers. This person has purchased from us a dozen times in the past. This one doesn't count. And I would see that for multiple orders and just realize that it wasn't a good return on our investment. And so I don't know if it was the person running the ads. I don't know if it was the creative, the images or the copy or what have you.
Yeah, because this is so a good progress. I think that that's just a learning space, but even who do ads and the brand, they have to work something together so they can get the best results in long term. But watching the history of Shopify tells you that people bought before. But do you think like people when they were scrolling and then they already engaged with your website, so the pixel made them see the ad again? Would you say that had an impact on them buying rather than if they just open the website without seeing the ad?
Yes, I mean, you're right. And so that's where you get into the sort of gray area where it's impossible to tell, like, did it really come from Facebook? Did this ad that they may have scrolled past, did it have an impact? And that's where it's like, impossible to tell. And so I would, sort of match that up with what would happen if we didn't run these ads. Are our sales going to drop? And they didn't really drop once we stopped running the ads.
How long did you try running the ad, like, consistently?
There's been multiple times where we would, 4, 5, 6 months at a time.
Okay.
So it wasn't like a 2-week thing and this isn't working and then it was, we would say, all right, it's professional. We're gonna do like 6 months. Let's see what we can do here. And then
That's reasonable. That's good. Yeah, the agile of things.
So one more question. What's your philosophy in life, Asher?
philosophy in life. That's a big question.
I would say we get our philosophy from our parents usually. Like you get it from your dad, your mom. They have a huge impact on how you think, how you act. And sometimes we accept them, but sometimes we say, no, this is not the philosophy I would love to go with. So yeah, if that can explain the question more.
Philosophy on life. All right. Well, I'll just, maybe what's important to me. Truth and freedom. I maybe part of why I wanted to be an entrepreneur is because I don't want to have to answer to anyone. I want sort of maximum freedom in my personal life. And, so being your own boss is very important in that. I want to be able to wake up when I want to wake up and everything in between, not having to answer to anyone. So that's been a driving force for me. And then truth also, you can't, if you are either telling lies or believing in lies, that's going to lead to bad outcomes. And I think we've seen that in the last few years. There's been a lot of bad outcomes for a lot of people because they believed in certain lies that have been told. So
I'll give in first. That sounds I like that one. I like that one.
It's a great answer.
Yeah, it's a good one. I think too this is pretty important. Like people, because they care about stats, they care about how they look in front of other people, building a business and acting like they have clients who are acting like they're making that much money, faking Shopify dashboard or something just to look cool in front of the fans. And these guys will one day be seen and it would look really bad in front of people. That use Clayton in front of.
I've never been attracted to status. You know, like
That's interesting.
it's never been a thing for me. You know, I was captain of my high school basketball team. I was captain. I was captain of my college basketball team.
Athletes have a hustling mindset when it comes to business. They just
Sorry?
all athletes that I've met that have the entrepreneurs are really good. Like they have this hustling mindset. They just kill it in the business.
Well,
Background as an athlete.
athletes know what it takes to work hard and get good at something. You know, it's if you've never been an athlete before, being an athlete, you have to work on your own in order to get good at something, and then especially if you're in a team sport, you have to also translate that to working well with others. And so athletes have a somewhat unique experience in, doing this their entire lives that translates really well to the business world.
Because you know how hard it takes you to just get your stamina up for stars. Let's say just stamina. I used to play soccer, football, and you have to run every day for 6-7 hours. Then you don't see the results in a month or two. You see the results in 6 months.
Right.
And it's pretty weird because you have to keep working, keep hustling, and then
Right.
and then you do that. So it's the same in business, I guess. I guess when we started our agency, we kept working for months trying to get our first clients back 5 years ago, and it was tough, man. It was tough.
Yeah.
But once the wheels start working, everything works perfectly.
Yeah. And you're used to competing, you're used to losing, you're used to getting back up and doing it again. And your feelings don't get hurt, you're better able to take criticism, it's just there's a lot of
An acceptance way.
yeah
Something I think what you say.
yeah like you get beat by a better team and it's like, what are you gonna do?
Reality, face
Either-
reality.
yeah
Yeah.
you'd either get better or you're not gonna beat those guys. And
I totally agree.
and
Entrepreneurship it makes you feel face reality way too much. Like it keeps fucking you up in everything.
yeah
When he first started, he was like working hard. He is not finding the right partner, but he kept going. Like
Yeah.
the entrepreneurship is about the mindset. I'm going to win. I'm not going home. I'm losing. I'm not a loser.
right. Yeah, and do you know what it's like to, put in those long hours at practice? You know what it's like to probably work on your own to get good at something. You know what it's like to work with other people. The dynamics of being part of a team. It just provides a really good foundation for being an entrepreneur or for just being an employee too, because you're going to have to work through those team dynamics, and
Teamwork.
criticism.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If people don't come from a background of athletes and like, I just want to be the man. I just want to be the one man show. Gotta do everything, and then they fail. They collapse.
yeah,
It's tough.
yeah.
All right. The next final, I would say, question. So we can have a good time with our. So if you were not an entrepreneur, that's a question we asked of entrepreneurs. If you're not an entrepreneur, what would you be?
Oh man,
Because you care about freedom, right? That's a hard
I'd
question.
probably be, a miserable employee.
Would you be accept the fact that you're an employee working for someone building his dream? You couldn't be an entrepreneur, so that's the only way. Yeah.
It was hard for me. I don't think I was ever a very good employee. I was in consulting and I was a financial analyst for, combined, I don't know, 6 or 7 years before starting my own thing. And I don't know, I just, the politics and, you know, having to, the politics never appeal to me. I don't like having to, appeal to
Someone
authority for, to move up or to do anything like that. I want to, I want to do my job. I want to do it well and be rewarded for my work based on the merits of my work, not based on who I'm friends with or who I'm,
Yeah, I know where you're going.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to give you some good words so they can push me up.
I'm not into that. Yeah, I tell the truth too much. to be,
Did
to be, to be-
it hurt you in any way when you did that? Or will you keep doing that? For, like, did saying the truth ever make you lose someone, lose a partner, or lose something in business?
not a partner, but definitely friends.
Yeah.
I'm just not willing to compromise. So, there's a lot of people in this world who don't want to have their egos bruised by someone hearing the truth that might not
Be the
be,
best thing.
for that person. And so, it's hard for me to bite my tongue and to be, diplomatic and it's just hard for me to do that.
I like this one because for me, because sometimes people listening, you need to get the truth. You need to go ask someone that you know who would tell you the truth and just without trying to make it look perfect or look good. And that just helps you, and that helps you if you don't know the truth. It will help you a lot. It will help you get back on your feet, get working, get something, do something. Yeah.
even improve what you are doing. When you hear
Yeah.
the truth, okay, man, this is not great. Maybe the flavor is not the best. We need to improve it. It's not balanced. For example, when you
Yeah.
get a constructive feedback, you go to the next level. But if you want you're good, everything is perfect.
Yeah, people like telling them that's perfect, everything is great, you're doing great.
Yeah.
That's fun.
No, they want to have their little fragile egos protected. I'm just not good at that.
Don't protect your egos with people who are listening. Don't protect your egos. Make sure you learn the truth and face it wherever it is, and know how to adjust to that and fix it. Thanks so much, for having. Yeah, you want to say something else? Yeah, please.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, don't connect your ego with being right or being the best or being or having it your way. Connect your ego to, well, if I didn't get it right this time, I can pick myself up and learn how to do it better the next time. And if you tell yourself, like, I'm the person who I might not get it right the first time, but I'll work hard to figure it out the next time, and that's who you identify yourself with, then that's a much better path than, oh, I'm the smartest person in the room, so I'm going to get it right. And then you're obviously going to be wrong sometimes. And so that will bruise your ego way more than if you said, well, I'm the guy who maybe I get it wrong the first time, but I'm going to work hard to do a better job or to get it right the second time.
Yes.
I like the mindset,
Yeah, it's pretty.
you are accepting others or saying the truth with yourself. You're not sorry.
Yeah.
You're not the best.
Being bad is something. I would say that's an egoistic. Like if you have you talking, you can't say that you're bad at something. You can't say, hey, I'm gonna start. Let's say you're gonna start kickboxing. You're gonna start a fight. You're gonna start to learn something. You wouldn't do that just because you have so much ego in your business. You're good at that, but you're not good at jiu-jitsu. You're not good at kickboxing. So you have to accept the fact that you're not good there. Fuck your ego. Remove it completely. Start working on it.
Yeah.
Literally, that's it. That's a good way to put it. I think that's another philosophy of life that we learn from you, man. Ego is there.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chef, for for coming up on our podcast. Thanks. Yeah, we had so much fun talking to you, Archie, and would love to have you on after the 100 episodes, of course.
Yeah.
Something off
great.
in Dubai.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be great.
you
It
guys
was
for listening.
fun talking to you guys too.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. We'll see you in the next episode. So we can close the recording line.
A second.